old songs that came to mind, and I didn't do it last night because I felt like I had taken too much time anyway, so I didn't do it. But I'll do a little bit of it tonight. What is this?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I can feel deep down inside. What is this? Keep setting my soul on fire. Whatever it is, it won't let me hold my peace.
Come on, Roland.
What is this? Make folks say I'm acting strange. What is this? Make me love to call God's name. Whatever it is, oh, it won't let me. I just can't hold my peace. I know it makes me love my enemies, and Lord, it makes me love my friends, and it won't let me be ashamed to tell the world I've been born again. And got me feeling so good right now. What is this? Make me wanna run on anyhow. Whatever it is, it won't let me. I just can't hold my peace. God bless you.
Amen.
From Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 9 and verse 16. Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 9 and verse 16 says, so then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
Mercy.
I want to talk about for a few minutes saved by mercy.
Yes, Lord.
Saved by mercy.
Look, the camera.
Now you might not believe that, but it's all because of the mercy of God that we are where we are and who we are. The fallacy of gaining salvation by human effort remains as strong as ever. People still think that good intentions are the key to unlocking the door to eternal life. By the time they get to try the lock, they find out that the keys don't fit. All those imagine that their efforts are building an invisible ladder to heaven and making up of service and family and positions and reputation and good works and desires. Although none of these things will support a fellow, but yet they do these things trying to get to heaven. People are so busy trying to reach God that they completely miss the truth that God has already reached down to them. We cannot earn God's mercy. If we could, it wouldn't be mercy. God is merciful to us because he wants to. The songwriter had it right when he said, if he have to reach way down, Jesus can pick you up. The thing that we have to guard against is that we must watch for the warning signs, because when we are trying to get to heaven on our own, we will develop some hardness. There'll be some hardening that's like a callus, and there'll be some hardening like the bone fiber that bridges a fracture. Spiritual hardening begins with self-sufficiency, security in one's own self, and self-satisfaction. The real danger is that at some point, repeated resistance to yield yourself to God will cause you not to respond to him, and you are in real danger of having a hardened heart. Insensitivity indicates advanced hardening. Here's some of the warning signs I need you to just go through, and I'm going to just go through a few of them, and I'm not going to worry you too long. But the first thing you need to do to check yourself to find out if you need to be saved by grace, you need to figure out, am I disobeying God? Pharaoh willfully disobeyed God. And his disobedience led to the hardening of his heart. God really didn't do anything to Pharaoh. Pharaoh just resisted, and God wouldn't show him no mercy, so he never turned to God. Exodus 4:21 says, and the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest into Egypt, see that thou doest all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand, but I will harden his heart that he shall not let the people go. In other words, God said, all I got to do is withhold my mercy, and his heart will harden. How many of us have become hardened towards somebody simply because we wouldn't have mercy on them? We figure, I got mine, they better get theirs. Disobedience to God will harden your heart. You've been getting away with wrong stuff so long, the wrong has become right. And you don't even realize you're disobeying because you've been doing it all your life. Well, I know you don't have that problem, but you just need to check yourself every now and then to see if you are obeying God, and that your heart is not hard toward God because of your disobedience, which causes you to be hard toward your fellow man. We wonder why some folks are so hard. They're disobeying God all the time. When you get used to disobeying, it's hard to start all of a sudden and flip the switch and start obeying. If God does not have mercy on us, then it means that we can't redirect our affections and our intentions. We don't have that power within ourselves. Well, let me tell you something, that when you're blind and nobody turns on a light so you can see, you're going to stay blind. I heard Bishop talking about how the lights on the cars at night, the reflection and that glare off them lights, how he have a hard time seeing. I spent extra money on these glasses to get rid of that glare, so I could see where I was going at night. It's a bad feeling when you're scared to drive at night. Y'all ain't that old yet. I ain't that old either. But I tell anybody, I'm 39. And this year, the good Lord blessed me to celebrate the 30th anniversary of my 39th birthday. We need to watch some stuff to see that we don't get ourselves in a position to where that saving mercy is not in our lives. See, sometimes having wealth and prosperity causes us to take God's blessings for granted. Just because you got 2 nickels. Y'all know the rest of that. You got 2 nickels and you think you somebody now. But you can get broke real quick. It don't take but one sickness. It don't take but one major event in your life. And you can be broke overnight. Well, what you talking about? I found out something years ago, back in the early 80s. I thought I was doing something. I know I had a good job. I know I was making plenty of money. I was living in my own house and it was paid for. That old raggedy car sitting out there was paid for. But when all of that stuff started closing down, what I once took for granted, now all of a sudden I found out I was blessed beyond what I deserved. And now all I'm worried about is, Lord, how do I survive? I don't really want to get back there, but just let me survive. Well, I show you how the Lord fixed that thing. When I got to the point where I was appreciating the little stuff that he was doing for me. I actually had more little stuff than I had big stuff. Because when I first got there, I had a new car, but it really wasn't mine. And when the finance company got it, I got me another old raggedy car. And the Lord opened up the way and I got me another old raggedy car. And the Lord opened up the way and I got my daughter old raggedy car. The next thing I know, another car showed up there in the yard. I just had cars. I just have to decide which one I want to drive today. We sometimes, when we are prospering, we just take the blessings that God has given us, we take them for granted. We think that we deserve them, but I got news for you. You didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve nothing that he gave. He gave it to you because he had mercy on you. You thinking to yourself, well, God owes me. No, God don't owe you nothing. That's a problem I got with young folk today. They think somebody owes them something. Don't nobody owe you nothing. You need to get out there and work and get it for yourself. You know what you got to do in order to survive in today's world, so you need to make preparation. They told us when I was growing up that we needed to have at least a high school education to get a decent job. And that was our goal, to get a high school education. Some of us went a little bit farther and got a college degree. And we did what we had to do in order to be successful. Went to the trade school and became a machinist. And once you got that machinist card, then it wasn't no easy job to get it. But once you got it in your hand, and they knew you had it, when you got your paycheck on Friday, you looking. Some folk didn't like us because they said for us to be in Arkansas, we were too highly paid. But we were looking at the fact that we got them little cards that said we were machinists. Folk down at the local schoolhouse was upset with us because the machinist was making more than the principal of the high school. Machinists, they didn't realize they wasn't giving us nothing. We were earning every nickel of it. They wasn't just giving us that money. We had to figure out some stuff. When that man bring you that blueprint and throw it out there and say, look here, I need that part as soon as you can get it. And you look in there and you're trying with your slide rule, you're figuring out these angles and how to set these tools so that they will make these various cuts. And when you make them cuts and you're looking at that blueprint, by the time you finish with that raw bar stock, it better look like what's on that paper. Or they were going to be telling you got to find you another job. And sometimes you'd be back there sweating bullets because you know, well, I done took too much time. I need to be the guy at least one part run. And you ain't got nothing done yet because you just can't quite get it right. Then and finally you look up and say, Lord, help me do this. And the next thing you know, the Lord has put something in your mind and you tried and it works. And now you standing back bragging. Did you make that? Sure, I made that. What you think? Ain't nobody know. Dumbass, I got the blueprint, don't I? And then you look it up saying, thank you, Lord. When you are prospering, you ought to be the loudest one in the church. You know, sometimes we think folk loud in church and we be looking at them like they need to be quiet. You don't know what's going on. They might realize that I just made it over a rough spot in my life, and I know it wasn't because of my doing. It was all by the grace of God, and I can't help but make some noise. Why you think South John was ready to shout in the middle of the field? If you don't want me to shout at church, all the Lord has done for me, I'll shout right here, hold me. Then you need to understand so that you don't get too lifted up that you need that salvation comes by grace. You need to understand that some of us have a rebelling and a discontent spirit. We are suffering and we are discomforted because we are blaming God for our misfortune. God didn't put that on you. You put that on yourself. You made them bad decisions. God didn't make you make them bad decisions. He allowed you. He showed you what you ought to do, and you chose to go another way. Look at here, Psalm 95:8 says, harden not your heart, as in the provocation, and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Harden not your heart, because if you harden your heart, you become like a lump of clay. Some of us have hardened our hearts because God has not given us what we think we ought to have. You don't know what you need to have. God knows what you need to have. He knew you from the foundation of the world. He knew you before you were even a gleam in your daddy's eye. He knew who you were. And he knows what you need, and he knows what's best for you. Because his design is for each individual. Ain't no everybody. No. I got a plan for each and every one of you. I know how many hairs you got on your head. I don't know how many hairs I got on my head. I know I ain't got as many as I used to have. But I still don't know how many up there. And some of y'all, and let me see if I can dress this up. Some of y'all are follically challenged.
Yes, sir.
You just don't want to admit it. But yeah, I look like I got a head full of hair, but it's thin. It used to be thick. It's thin now. And if I be like some of more of my relatives, I ain't got, but I'm thankful I'm not like some of them, because some of them, by the time they got to be my age, they were completely bald. But I still got some hair on my head. Some of us are rebelling against God because we blame God for where we are in our life. Why are you blaming God? He didn't tell you to go out there and do what you did. God didn't tell you to go out there and try to drink all the Budweiser in town. Now you in bad shape. God didn't tell you that Tanqueray would mess your head up. Now for those of you, I know y'all don't drink that stuff no more. See, back in my day, gin and orange, Tanqueray. That was the cool drink. Gin and orange. We go get some Tanqueray in the green bottle. Oh, y'all drinking that cheap stuff. Y'all drinking that going. Something that didn't happen when I was growing up, and I saw it the other day. I was looking and I saw that they had a commercial on TV advertising Crown Royal. I noticed they redesigned the bottle. See, the Crown Royal was on the top shelf in the blue bag. And when you went in there and ordered it, the man had to dust it off. A lot of us are rebelling against God because God allowed us to get into situations that were of our own making and our own doing, and we never cried out, Lord, have mercy. And that's all he was waiting on. He's just waiting on you to say, have mercy on me, Lord. And you too mean to say, have mercy. You look it up and say, I don't deserve this. Well, you might not deserve it, but you there. You need to praise him in the midst of your sorrow. Don't wait till the sorrow is over. Praise him while you are in the midst of your sorrow, and it won't last as long. You heard the expression, praise your way through? Yes. If I didn't know how to praise my way through, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because I've been through some stuff in my life. And without a praise, I would have never gotten through it. When he sang that song about never would have made it, I can't sing that song because I can't hold up long enough to finish it. Because when I really get to thinking about what he has brought me through, I know I never would have made it. A lot of us are rejecting the rebuke that God is putting on us. And we know we deserve a rebuke. We did what we did. I don't know about you, but I admit my shortcomings. I found out if you admit what you did and ask God to forgive you, He'll forgive you. And you can move on with your life. You don't have to keep worrying about that. If you start rejecting what God is doing when He's rebuking you, you become stiff-necked. And when you become stiff-necked, well, let me put it in a physical sense. I went through a period where I had something wrong with my neck, and I couldn't really turn to the left. When I was trying to drive and I needed to look to the left, I had to literally turn my whole body to the left. And I used to say, Lord, I sure would be glad if you would let me figure out how to get my neck back working. And one day, because of something else that I was trying to get straightened out, I noticed that by doing a little simple exercise, wasn't nothing really fancy, just a little simple exercise, I could move my neck and turn to the left. And I was so happy, and I know somebody was wondering why I was grinning so hard that day. I had been in a position where I couldn't turn to the left. And now all of a sudden that stiff neck done loosened up enough where I could turn my head to the left. And I was just so happy. I was just walking around and folks would probably want to say, he must have hit the lottery. No. I can move my neck again. A lot of folk in church have stiff necks because you don't want God to rebuke you. God rebukes those, He chastens those that He loves. He ain't mad at you. He's trying to get you back in the fold. And you won't, by your own admission, you won't come back into the fold. But I want you to understand something here tonight as I get ready to take my seat. I want you to know that God does not give us a warning. God does not give us a countdown. God does not say, if you don't get right by the time I count to 3. Some of us do our children that way. We tell them, if you don't straighten up by the time I count to 3, I'm going to give you a reason to be mad. Yeah, my mama used to tell me so many occasions, boy, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you a reason to cry. I learned real quick that you didn't want mama to give you a reason to cry. You needed to try to get them tears out of your eyes. Most of the time I was crying about stuff that I really didn't need to do anyhow. Crying because she wouldn't let me go outside and play in the mud. Crying because she wouldn't let me watch a certain TV show. Crying because she wouldn't let me eat up all of the food that was in the house. Sometimes we have to be disciplined so that we'll learn that life is more than doing what you want to do. Life is about doing what God wants you to do. If you want to see His mercy in your life, all you got to do is think about the air that you're breathing. If you're breathing right now, you are enjoying the mercy of God. If you have a reasonable portion of health and strength, you are enjoying mercy right now. If you can hear the sound of my voice, then you are enjoying His mercy right now. You don't have to worry about it. God's mercy will be with you each and every day of your life. But some of y'all are refusing to listen to the word of God, and you're angry for no good reason. But have you ever stopped to consider if mercy walked out of your life? If God decided to remove his hand from your life, if God decided, I'm going to turn you over to a reprobated man, because you don't want to hear me anyhow. Have you ever thought about what would my life be if it wasn't for the Lord? The Lord is my life and my salvation, and that's why I'm able to go when I don't feel like going, man. I can go when my enemy is camped all around me, and I can go when men are saying mean things about me. I can still move right on forward, because I realize something, that God has had mercy on me, because he had mercy on me. This time last year, I didn't know if I'd be able to preach anymore. I couldn't hardly walk up the steps, but God had mercy on me. He healed my body, and look at me right now. I'm here to tell you that is a saving. We're saved by the mercy of the Lord. He had mercy on us when he sent his son to Calvary's hill to die for a wretch like you and me. He had mercy on us when he let him hang there till the sun stopped shining, the moon dripped down in blood, the earth reeled and rocked. He had mercy on us when he let him go in a borrowed tomb and stay up 3 long days. He had mercy on us when he woke him up early, sent the soul angel to roll the stone away, and he got up early on the 3rd day morning. And when he got up on the 3rd day morning, stepped up out of that grave, shook down a dying sword. When he shook it down, he went on and stepped down and said, all power in my hand. Whatever you need, I got it right here. I got mercy. You're here today that you need it. All you gotta do is look up heaven where it says, Lord have mercy on a son like me. Anybody in here need a little mercy? Anybody in here want the Lord to have mercy on you? Anybody in here leaning and depending on that mercy? Anybody in here know God mercy?
All right, Pastor. All right.
Sorry for the shaky camera.